Look, I know this sounds absolutely insane. I walked away from an $80,000 salary to take a $40,000 job, and somehow I ended up with more money in my pocket at the end of every month. And no, I didn't win the lottery or inherit anything. The math behind this is so backwards that when I show it to people, they literally don't believe me at first. Here's the thing. At my 80K job, I was making what most people would call good money, right? I mean, that's roughly $6,600 a month before taxes. I had the fancy title, the nice office, the whole package. But every single month, I was somehow broke by the 25th. And I kept thinking, where is all this money going? So let me break down the actual math for you, because this is where it gets wild. At my 80K job, after taxes and everything, I was taking home about $4,800 a month. Sounds good, right? But here's what nobody talks about. I was spending $450 on car payments because, I had to look the part. Another $200 on gas because I had a 45-minute commute each way. That's $650 right there. Then there was the $800 a month for daycare because I was working 50, 60 hours a week and couldn't be there for my kids. Professional wardrobe, another $150 a month when you average it out. Grabbing lunch because I was too exhausted to meal prep, easily $300 a month. But here's what most people completely miss. There were all these invisible costs, the I deserve this purchases after brutal weeks, the convenience tax of being too tired to cook, so ordering delivery, the stress spending, the medical bills from stress-related issues. When I actually sat down and tracked it, I was spending an extra $2,200 a month just because of that job. So out of that $4,800 take-home, I was really only left with about $2,600 for actual living after all the job-related expenses. Now, here's where it flips. I took a 40K remote job. After taxes, I'm taking home about $2,800 a month. You're probably thinking, wait, that's way less than $4,800. But watch this. No car payment anymore because I sold that status symbol and bought a reliable used car in cash. No daily commute, so gas dropped to maybe $60 a month. No daycare because I could work around my kids' schedules. No professional wardrobe expenses. No stress-induced spending sprees. Here's the math that broke my brain. At my 80K job, after all those hidden costs, I had $2,600 left over. At my 40K job with $2,800 take-home and barely any job-related expenses, I suddenly had $2,500 left over for actual living. And here's the kicker. I was home. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't buying happiness. I wasn't medicating burnout with Amazon packages. Within 3 months, I had more in savings than I'd managed to save in 2 years at the higher-paying job. And look, I'm not saying everyone should take a pay cut, but what most people don't realize is this. A higher salary doesn't automatically mean more wealth. Sometimes the golden handcuffs cost more than the gold is worth. The real question isn't how much do you make, it's how much do you keep. Because I was making $80,000 and keeping poverty. Now I make $40,000 and I'm actually building wealth. So here's what I want you to do. Sit down tonight and actually calculate what your job costs you. Not just taxes, everything. The commute, the clothes, the childcare, the convenience, the stress. You might be shocked at what you find. Sometimes the best raise is cutting the costs you didn't know you were paying. Think about it.